Action buttons are generally available starting winter 25. And what is that going to mean to you? Let me give you a scenario. Let's say I have to accept the input from the user, which is going to be account name. And once the user provides the account name, I'm interested in fetching the list of all the associated contacts in the very same screen. In that case, I can achieve it with the help of action buttons. Earlier, let me walk you through how we used to implement this. In screen 1, we will be accepting the input from the user, which is going to be account name. User clicks on next button. Screen 2 will be displaying all the contacts of the account. Now, with the help of action buttons within the very same screen, once the user provides the account name, clicks on the button, we'll be able to re-render the contacts somewhere here. To implement this, I need to create two flows. First, I'm going to create an auto-launched flow. This is going to have a resource which is called record ID. For that matter, the variable name can be anything. From the parent flow, I'm going to send the record ID to the child flow, which is going to be an auto-launched flow. The child flow is going to query all the contacts and then it is going to source the output back to the parent flow. In case this is a bit overwhelming for you, the only thing that you need to understand as a part of this discussion is there will be two flows. The first one is going to be an auto launched flow, the second one is going to be a screen flow. Real quick, let me jump back to the org. I'm going to create a new flow. I'm going to start from scratch. This here is going to be auto launched flow. Create. Before I create anything, let me take the help of this particular button here and I'm going to create a resource. This is going to be a variable. Data type is going to be text and this here is going to be record ID. Looks like this is not yet populated. Make sure that this particular checkbox is checked so that the parent flow here can source or inject the data into the child flows variable. And then I'm going to click on done. I'm going to take the help of get records block. I'm going to give the label as get contacts for an account. Object is going to be contact. Here I'm going to say account ID equals to record ID. I'm interested in fetching all the records. And then I'm going to click on this particular radio button here. Here I need to pick a record collection variable to hold all the contacts that we'll be fetching as a part of this particular block here. I'm going to create a new resource. This is going to be a variable. Data type is record, but this is going to hold multiple records. So I'm going to check this checkbox. Object is going to be contact. This here is going to be all contacts related to account. The catch is I need to check this particular checkbox which says available for output because whatever is the response that I get back from get records, I need to source it to the parent component. So this has to be checked. Click on done. And here I'm going to pick this. I'm going to go ahead and specify the fields that I'm interested in querying. This is going to be first name, last name, email, maybe department. In case there are no records, I can specify the variable to be null by checking this particular checkbox. I'm going to save this. The name of the flow is going to be something like this. Do not forget to activate it. There you go. It is activated. Let me take a step back. Let me create a new flow now. And this here is going to be the parent flow, which is this. I'm going to start from scratch again. This here is going to be screen flow. I'm going to take the help of a screen element. and then I need to take the help of lookup field. Object API name is going to be contact. Label is going to be pick an account. API name also can be something like this, but make sure that you replace spaces with underscores. Maximum selection, I'm going to make it as 1. If you want to work with default selection, you can work with these input text boxes, or you can just go easy with that. Make sure you provide a label for the screen itself. I'm going to call this as upgrade account and contacts. Now, right below this particular lookup, I'm going to drag and drop action button. For that matter, you can also click on it. This here is going to give me a button. Now, what happens when user clicks on this button? On click of this button, I want to invoke some automation, and that is fetch all contacts related to an account. Not just that, this particular flow has got a resource which is capable of accepting an input, which is record ID. So let me provide the record ID as well. What is going to be the record ID? Record ID is nothing but the ID of the account that I pick here. So I'm going to say record ID is going to be pick an account lookup dot record ID. So whatever account you pick here, the account's record ID will be injected or sourced to the resource which is record ID in the flow which is fetch all contacts related to an account. Let me also provide the API names and labels here. So the API name is going to be list of contacts. Let me go one step back. Let me provide the API name here as well. This here is going to be get contacts action button, and followed by that I'm going to take the help of data table. So user provides the account name here, clicks on the button. We will be invoking the automation, which is an auto launched flow. Auto launched flow has got a variable to accept the input. It has got one variable to source the output back to the parent flow. And whatever output that the auto launched flow sources, I will be picking it up here, and I will try to use that data to be displayed in the tabular format. Source collection is going to be list of contacts dot results dot all contacts related to an account. In case you're interested in displaying a search bar, you can check this checkbox. Immediately you'll see the search bar here. Before I go ahead and configure the rows and columns, let me also provide the API name here. This is going to be I'll check this checkbox so that whatever value that I provide here will be displayed as label here. And then configure rows. I can allow the user to pick one or multiple rows. I'm not interested in this setting. Configure columns. Yes, I'm interested in this. Let me display the first name, and then I'm going to display the last name. Then email, then department. I'm trying to display 4 fields here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and click on done. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call this as upgrade account and contacts flow. In fact, instead of providing the same name for the screen and the flow, you might as well change the name of the screen here. I'll leave it to you. Let me debug it. Now the user picks an account. It is going to be Acme sample, and then user clicks on action button. There you go. I'll be able to fetch all the contacts related to Acme sample. In turn, they will be displayed within the same screen and everything is happening dynamically without taking the help of two or more than two screens. Before I wind it up, in case you're interested in having a look at one more quality of life update, let me go back to the flow. In case you're not interested in displaying the button to the extreme left, and if you're interested in displaying it towards the center of the screen, then I can take the help of section. The reason why I need to take the help of section is if I click on this particular component, you only have two or three options here. There's no other option using which you can configure the attribute of this particular component. You'll have to end up using a section. I'm going to grab this guy here. I'll add maybe three columns. This guy sits in the middle. Let me click on done, give this a save, debug it. Perfect. You'll be able to see the button towards the center of the screen. So this here is the capability of action button, and starting winter 25, this is generally available and you can start using this to your heart's content. That's all for this episode. See you in the next one.